All right. Welcome to CSI September edition for 2020. So if you have a question today, please feel free to type it in the chat box at any time. And also, if you want to register so that you make sure you get credit for today, attending today, type your name and your school in the chat box as well. These are our topics for today. I'm not going to read over them because we're going to cover them at each point throughout the session. The first one is child welfare and attendance. As a teacher in Caddo Parish Schools, you are a mandated reporter. This is the information and the contact numbers for you to access that information. There's also, I put a link on the PowerPoint that I will be sharing with everybody, but this is also on the Caddo Parish Schools website so that you will be able to download it and fill it out if you ever needed to at any point. As far as no-show procedures, I don't know if y'all, granted we know that this year is very different from years in the past, and you probably are seeing a lot of names on your rosters that either haven't checked in virtually or haven't come in face-to-face. And just to kind of help out your administration, if you have some of those people, find their contact information in J Campus and just reach out to them and just see if you can touch base with them. It may be that they are going to one of our private schools in the area, or they're going to a charter school, or they may have moved out of the district. We don't know. But as soon as we can find out where they are, the quicker we can either get them enrolled in the right schools or move them to the right school. They may have moved across the town and be at a different school and just haven't picked up yet. So we just want, if you could help them out, that would be a great benefit. I'm sure your administration would love that. But I'm sure your schools will, if they haven't already, they will be getting with you about the process at your school, and you may have some additional or different procedures, but make sure you follow the procedures for your schools. We're going to do a poll now, y'all. So, thinking about Harry Wong, the first two units that we submitted were for units B and C, if you read the book for the New Teacher Summit this year. And in that, for unit B, it really was talking about setting up your environment and setting that tone for your climate and culture. So I want you to read over these, and then I'm going to put a poll up, and I want you to tell us how you feel right now that you are doing in each one of these categories. I'm going to give you a minute to read over them, and then I'm going to post the poll for you to interact with. If you are driving, please do not do it unless you are maybe at a long red light. Okay, here's our poll.
Is 5 good or bad?
5 is it's a strength. 1 is a low score. So it's kind of think about 5 as the top and 1 is really low.
Is it supposed to scroll down?
Can you not see them?
No, I can see one.
Scroll. Okay, lesson learned. Thank y'all for being patient as I learn how to poll.
Scrolls.
Do I need to scroll?
I'm scrolling.
Oh, y'all can actually scroll. Okay.
I can't scroll. I mean, what do you do to scroll?
You can scroll, Cassie. We scroll.
Oh, Amy, you should be able to scroll yourself, Amy.
No,
Amy, hit submit and next.
it's not bringing up the submit button because I can't scroll down. I mean, I'm trying. I know how to do it. I just
Stretch out the window, maybe?
Well, if you want to do yours in the chat box, Amy, and just
okay.
Read over the things from the PowerPoint.
Okay.
And yeah, you got to learn to adapt. All right. Let me give about 30 more seconds. Not 30 minutes, 30 seconds. And we will, should be finishing up. Looks like everybody's getting close. There are 6.
Stop.
Okay, you got about 10 seconds left. All right, I'm going to end that poll. So looking at, can y'all see the results?
No.
If I move it over here, can you?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, I have to hit share results. Learned. Okay, I'm learning. Now you can see the results, right? Awesome. So as far as creating your classroom environment and it's clean and organized, and I'm telling y'all, organization is probably the hardest thing to do because you're constantly being shoved pieces of paper and things and school supplies and all of that. Clean, probably a little bit easier this year just because of protocols that we have set in place. But so majority of you at least are feeling like you've got that kind of in place. But
What?
I will guarantee you that most of you will probably totally reorganize your room 2 or 3 times before Christmas, because you'll start finding out flows and things of ways and things that are better. Somebody mentioned to me today, they were talking about how they found out that computers on one side of the room weren't working, mainly because the internet wasn't working. They moved them to the other side of the room and the internet was working better. So, I mean, simple things like that, just reorganizing and reformatting might help with your structure. Plus, when you get in those routines with your students. Greeting your students each day as they enter the classroom. A lot of us do that just because we have to stand at our door and greet them as they walk in. So that's usually a pretty easy one to be able to check the box on. Number 3, I listen when my students talk to me. And I think that's a lot of people think they're doing it so much, but a lot of times we're so worried about getting to the next thing that we don't stop and listen to our kids. Sometimes it may be that they're telling us they got this. We don't need to spend so much time on this, or they're struggling and we need to slow down. So just listening to them, and that's not always just for curriculum. That can also be just for somebody that's having a bad day, you know, and kind of just getting the vibe of a student and listening to them if they need to share some information with you. But it looks like we're, 4s and 5s on that one. So y'all are feeling pretty strong about that. I have asked my students to help me complete a task. A lot of people will struggle with this because they want to, I just want to get it done. I just want to get this done. Having helpers in your classroom not only will help you by relieving a lot of stress and giving them tasks and jobs in your classroom, whether it's just turning the lights out when you leave the classroom and when you come in, and somebody that picks up papers, or whatever. Your protocols are going to be different for your classroom, but having them complete tasks for you will streamline your work, and it will give them responsibilities, and it'll probably help out on classroom management a lot too. Number 5, I dress for success because I expect to be treated with respect. A little bit different at some schools right now. I know some schools are a little lax on their normal dress code, but I know with me, a lot of times the way I'm dressed is kind of the way I feel about, the comfort level that I am in also kind of makes me set my tone for how I'm going to act. So, when I have on my high heel shoes and I've got the lipstick on, I kind of know that I've got to be a certain way. And then other days when my hair's pulled up on top of my head and I've got my yoga pants on, I might feel a little bit different. So dressing for success in myself will make me feel better, but it will also allow those students to know that, you're the leader in the classroom, and to treat yourself and them with respect, and they should treat you as well. Number 6, I know how to pronounce the names of all my students. This one may be a little hard sometimes. You know, practicing with them, making sure that you're calling them either by the name or the name that they want to be called. Sometimes, you know, their first name is not always the name that they go by. And so if it's on your roster one way, just check with them and make sure that that's the name that they, you know, are going to be responsive to, I guess, as much. Patish, you have anything you want to add to any of this?
Yes, please learn to pronounce their names correctly.
Coming from two people whose names always get butchered, Patish and Cassie, yeah, we do. We can understand that. So, and that just shows that you really are, you know, beginning to get to know them. So, okay, I think I hit stop share results on this. And does it take y'all back to my PowerPoint? Or were you always there? I don't know. Nobody's answered me.
We always had the PowerPoint, but the poll did come up.
It was just in the middle. Okay, good. Good to know. We didn't cover that earlier in my practice session. So thinking about Unit C from the first days of school with Harry Wong, one of the quotes that we pulled from him was, "The effective teacher is an extremely good classroom manager." And as you probably have figured out at this point, you can't really do a lot of teaching until you got your kids in line and in order, and they know what's expected of them, and the physical part is managed well. The instruction really can't go. So I want you to take a look at these areas. Opening routine. Patish, please feel free to chime in on any of these. I know I shouldn't have to tell you. Opening routine. Having that routine of every time they come into your classroom, do you have that set? Is it, they know when they come in, they put their backpack somewhere, they put their, you know, homework somewhere, they know to get where they're sharpened pencils. I mean, any of those things, do they have those opening routines? Also, absent procedures, since it already came up. If you've got a process, if they were absent the last time you saw them, is there a process for them to get missed work? Granted, having Canvas now helps a lot because they can just access that. But if there are other procedures, or do they need to turn in a doctor's note? I mean, anything like that. Have you thought about those procedures as far as managing your classroom? Number 3, oh, why is it doing 2 at a time? Starting the class instruction. Do you start on time? Do you have an agenda? Do you have that set routine to really flow your class and get them to where they know it's a time for learning? Giving directions for assignments. And with Canvas right now, that is one thing that we really need to really think about, because they may not be getting those instructions, especially repeated instructions, because we're either having to type it out and then read it, or we're having to articulate it over a video. So you need to really think about, are you being as explicit as possible, especially for your online learning? But when you're doing face-to-face, have you thought through those steps? Especially with face-to-face, I know with the little ones, and that was my background. Patish can probably speak more to our middle school kids and older, but you have to kind of chunk your instruction and your directions. You can't just give them everything at once and expect them to remember it all, especially when it's new learning or a new activity that you're learning the routines for. But
Hey, Cassie,
yes.
something that we have noticed in technology that lots of teachers, the directions are not clear about is Zoom expectations.
Oh,
If they're going to be doing Zoom, like what are those expectations? Like how often is it going to happen? Does it happen every day? Because parents are calling us saying, oh, well, we can't get into a Zoom meeting, but there never was a Zoom meeting at that time. And so they're just expecting it. So it's something that they might want to think about, is putting something out there that says, this is when we will have Zoom.
I'm glad you brought that up, Sunny, because we actually, a group of us were talking about that this morning. And if on your Canvas you don't have a Zoom schedule of, if you're a period and your first period, your Zoom is the last 15 minutes of your class, post that and post the specific time. Don't just say the last 15 minutes of my first period, because I don't know what time your first period begins and ends. You know, if you always do it at 10 o'clock on a certain day, just post that almost as an agenda that's a permanent fixture or that can be updated as needed, and just have that as a fixture on an easy accessible place on your Canvas, so that your parents and students will know what's the expectations of that. Thank you, though, Sunny. Number 5 is movement of students and paper. And we probably have never thought about that as much as we do this year. And I'm sure every school is a little bit different. The few schools that I have actually been on campus since all of this has happened, you know, you have either you go up a one flight of stairs and down another flight, or you stay on the right side of the road and there's a, you know, median down the middle of the hallway. But thinking about even in your classroom, you know, what is that movement like? And not just because of the health protocols that we have, but just because of the management of your class. You don't want everybody up moving around, even on a good, healthy day. So thinking about all of that, one example that I think about with my students is when we would go anywhere in the building, we always had stopping points. And they all knew if you got to either a corner or an intersection, that was a stopping point. It was an automatic stop sign. And honestly, it helped because whoever was at the front of the line knew to stop, and then all of us would catch up. And then I could see people turning a corner, going around, going upstairs, downstairs, and I could monitor them. So just, you have to think about those steps. It's almost like a choreography from one place to another, how they go. When, you know, if I know lunches and breakfast and all are brought to your rooms, but so you're probably not moving unless you're going to enrichments or even leaving in the afternoons. But thinking about how you move your students, but also how you turn in those papers. You know, is everybody, you know, passing them up or putting them in a basket at their table or moving them to the right? There's lots of different scenarios that you can do. So thinking about those things will help alleviate a lot of stress in your classroom. Early finishers is another thing, and this year I've heard a lot of people saying that they're finishing a lot of their activities before, you know, they're thinking, oh, well, I only have 9 kids in my class. Well, we're finishing activities a lot earlier because, you know, planning for 22 and planning for 9 is a lot different. So thinking about, in general, what are your expectations for an early finisher? And it's not always going to be just get out a book and read. I mean, you know, because you're going to have those kids that don't like to read. You're going to have to think about either what's the next steps, what are some ways for you to enrich some students, what are some different things that you can do for early finishers. But if your entire class is finishing early, you also might need to think about your planning for that component. Patisse, you look like you wanted to say something.
Yes, I am. Folks, classroom management in general, 80% of the classroom management issues that go on in a classroom are because the teacher did not plan effectively. So when you think about everything that Cassie's talked about, right now everybody's still on their good behavior and our class numbers are really small, but as this year rolls out, we may have more and more students returning from online into classroom. So those rules and procedures in your classroom are so important. The great thing is you are the teacher. So at any given time, you can say, you know what, this rule or that procedure is not working for me. I want to change it. Tell the class, hey, you know what, this bothered me. This isn't working. Let's change it to this. And then you reteach the rule, reteach the procedure. We're going home Friday for a holiday weekend. Yay. So when we come back on Tuesday, have time built into your lesson to reteach your rules and procedures. Because we are going to be out for an extended amount of time, even one day is an extended amount of time, you're going to have to reteach. So for example, if one of your rules was you can't get up and sharpen your pencil without permission, in the grand scheme of things, I always thought that needed to be a rule in my classroom. Come to find out, it didn't bother me that kids got up to sharpen their pencil. It bothered me when they got up if I was teaching. And so instead, we tweaked it to be, you cannot get up and sharpen your pencil while the teacher's teaching. So as you find your comfort level in your classroom, depending on how many years of experience, if this is your first year or more, then, you know, tweak it to what makes you happy, because ultimately your rules and procedures should be making you as the classroom teacher happy.
Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that goes perfectly into number 7, which is asking for help. Please don't ever feel like you can't ask for help. If you have a question about anything, you know that the whole Teach Caddo team is available for us. I mean, no question is a dumb question. And honestly, the questions that we have received, you know, we started that FAQ that I know a lot of y'all have seen and visited, because I have actually added more questions to it that I hadn't even thought about. And, you know, we hadn't thought about, so we would just keep adding them because we're like, oh, we've been here, we've done it. So we haven't thought about somebody that's new coming in. So if you have any questions about anything, please ask for help. If you're struggling in your classroom and you need some suggestions, reach out, not only to us, but to your administration. That's what they're there for. They're there to support you so that you can support your students. So, yeah, don't ever be afraid to ask for help. Let's see. Number 8 is dismissal. Batiste, do you want to say it or do you want me to?
Go ahead.
What does the bell do?
It does not dismiss your classroom.
The bell does not dismiss your classroom. If the bell rings and all your kids just get up and run out the door, that is the bell dismissing your classroom. You dismiss your classroom. The bell is a signal to remind you that it is time for them to leave. You need to set a protocol and say, and when the bell rings, you know, you can start winding down, looking at the clock, you know the bell's going to ring in 30 seconds, kind of wrap up whatever you're doing, but then have a procedure, especially right now, because I'm sure everybody doesn't just get up and walk out the door, especially if you've got a lot of kids in your classroom. But at the end of the day, what is, you know, at the end of the class period, what are your procedures for dismissal so that A, it's not chaotic, B, that you maintain some control, and thinking about how kids can get out safely, but then they all have their stuff. There's order to it and everything like that. So what we want to do now is in the chat box, if you would just type the number. We don't even need, we just 1 through 9. Oh, there's an other. What we're going to talk about for other, Patisse? Anything else?
Other than what's listed.
Oh, if it's other, list what you think it is. But I want you to think about which one of these do you think is the most important? And if what we've talked about is not the thing you think is most important, I want you to list it as the other. But otherwise, you can just type 1 through 8. Batiste, can you help report out on that for me?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of
7s, 1s.
A lot of 7s, a lot of 1s. Being prepared, absolutely. You cannot just, the days of walking in and opening your teaching manual and just saying, what's the next day, and turning it and looking at it, those don't happen anymore. Even though you have those awesome annotated plans, you still have to look at it and prepare, get your materials together. Absolutely, that is a great one. 4 or 7 directions. Mm-hmm.
It looks like we've got pretty much a majority of either number 1, number 4 or number 7.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's interesting because opening a routine is very important because that sets the tone. Absolutely sets the tone. Giving those directions. What's the point of you standing up there if they don't understand what they're going to be doing? And then asking for help. Yeah,
That makes me happy that number 7 made the list.
it does. We have 2 people that have entered the waiting room for the meeting. Patisse,
I don't have anybody.
I'm admitting them.
Okay.
Marcus and Miss Claiborne have been sitting there waiting patiently. I'm so sorry. Thank you and welcome. We are so sorry we left you sitting there. All right. Well, thank you for the chat. We can, let's move on. So, can I get a reaction one way or the other, thumbs up or something? Has anybody had an opportunity to look at the NIET rubric, had any trainings, information about, oh, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Wonderful. Awesome. Some thumbs ups. You, Marcus, don't if you're driving. Don't respond if you're driving. Awesome. Okay, well, like I mentioned earlier, we will be talking about different components of the NIET rubric each month during CSI, and it's mainly just to get you more comfortable with the expectations and what is going to be expected of you and what's just, really good practice for teaching. I have a link here. There is a new NIET rubric that was just released September 1st, and so I have a copy of it. Really, the only thing that changed was the environment section, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And that was already planned, but then when we found out, we were like, we're on the right page. So looking at the environment, Patisse, I really think you articulate this better, so I'm going to give it over to you.
Okay. The link that was on the previous slide, which y'all will have access to all of this. One of the things I want to explain to the ones that already know, I'm sorry you're having to hear this twice, but for the ones that are new to this is your rubric for evaluation, okay? 1 is significantly below expectation and a 5 is significantly above expectation. If you can make a 3 on all of these components, you are sitting like a rock star. So let me say that again. As a new teacher, somebody with under 3 years of experience, if you can get a 3 in every category, you are a rock star. Now, that's very hard for teachers and educators of any sort to grasp because we are driven that we want to be at the very top of every rubric. I mean, if it's a 5, then I'm getting a 5. And that's how we're wired. And so when we became a TAP-like district and took on the NIET rubric as our evaluation tool, it was very hard for myself and quite a few of the other people that are on this screen with us to accept and be okay with not getting a 5. So as you look at this, it's really looking at the verbiage of the verbs in each one. And I want to talk about, like, for example, if we look at expectation, we look at the teacher agrees, or excuse me, the teacher engages students. Let me move y'all, I have y'all's little faces right there. The teacher engages students in learning. And then if you see in below expectation, the teacher's expectations are not rigorous. And then if you look at 5, the teacher engages students in learning with clear, rigorous academic expectations. So what you will notice on this rubric is the verbs that are used to explain what the teacher should be able to do. And if you are able to receive a 3 in each category, that means you are a good teacher. That means at the end of the year, your students should be able to show a year's worth of growth during that school academic year, okay? If you're making 4s and 5s on the rubric, they're saying at the end of the year, you are walking on water kind of teacher. And so We wanted to share that with you because as walkthroughs begin at your school, or as your PLCs happen at your schools, and y'all look at the engaging students and managing behavior component, you will have meetings at your school where you will work with analyzing and figuring out how to effectively do this within your classroom. Your goal is to aim for 3. So as a brand new teacher, if I end up with 3 3s and 2 2s, I think you should be elated with your performance. If you end up with all 3s, to me, you're a rock star. Year 1, year 2, and you're getting all 3s. Now, I know we have some folks on our Zoom with us that have been in Caddo, that they've gone through this process before, and you may be sitting here thinking about last year's evaluation, and maybe you ended up with a couple of 4s and some 3s. That's awesome. So when you get time, things slow down, then we're going to look at sitting down and really looking at the difference between each component. Cassie, does that help?
Absolutely. And this is just the first page. I will let you know, we're going to go on to the second page. This is the environment and respectful culture components of the environment section of the rubric. But I also shared a link in the chat that's a hyperlink to the entire document. So if you get a chance, I will have it available later, but that if you want it now and you just can't wait.
Adam said, I've received it, but haven't had a chance to really look at it. Adam, that's pretty much everybody. We just adopted what we were adopting in the past couple of weeks. So it's just now rolling out to schools. It's just now rolling out down to teachers. And so you may look at this, print this tonight from the chat that Cassie put in there and go back to your school. And you may be the only one on your hallway or in your team that actually knows that has the most current information.
Which is another advantage to coming to CSI every month. So, all right, let's keep moving on. Now, let's move into curriculum. Sunny, would you like to take over now, or do you want me to do the first part?
You can do this if you want.
Oh, I can? Yay. Okay. So as far as for Kickup goes, everybody, if you're on this meeting, you have a Kickup account, because you couldn't have gotten this link, other than Sunny, without getting signing up on Kickup. So if you are not aware that Kickup is the entire platform for you to register for all professional learning within Caddo. Many of you probably originally signed up in Kickup with your personal account. If at this point you already have you have your Caddo email address, if you will email Sunny, and her email address is right there, she will be able to merge your 2 accounts, and you will maintain all the credit from your personal email address, and she'll sync it with your Caddo email. So please make sure that you do that, because ultimately we want everybody to be accessing it with their Caddo account. The only way I even log in right now is through my Google account, which is my Caddo, so because I don't have to remember all the passwords.
Okay, Cassie, one more thing on that. Some people have put in the create an account when they got their Caddo email. Instead of sending it to me, they put in a new request for an account. So if you somehow ended up with a personal account and a Caddo account, and your stuff did not come over, let me know. And actually you can just, in the chat down in the bottom right hand corner of Kickup, you can request that they merge your 2 accounts. So that's what I do. Anytime there's one that needs to be merged, I simply put it in the chat on Kickup's screen and request that they merge the 2 accounts. So they can certainly do that if they want to.
And I'm assuming that if somebody has that problem, they know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, there are 2 ways to confirm attendance. I've gotten a lot of emails, especially for people that have attended some of the curriculum trainings throughout the school, the summer, They're like, how do I get my code so I get credit? Well, depending on how the kick-up event is set and designed, there's two different ways right now that you can get attendance. The first one is you just enter the event attendance code. And a lot of times, especially for live events where it's face to face, at the very end, we would give you like a big, I mean, it's like 5 or 6 letters and numbers, and you would just go into KickUp and you would enter the code, and it would automatically give you credit, and it would go to your transcript saying that you got credit for attending the session. Right now, because we're doing so many on-demand sessions, you've probably noticed that there's some like assessments at the end. And what happens is the presenter will get a spreadsheet of everybody and their score to show that they passed the thing. And then the presenter will go in and check a box saying that you successfully completed or award you credit for that training. So if you have some trainings that are still, they're not green, or you don't have a green check. I think that's the right thing. It's because the presenter hasn't gone back in and checked. And typically, I even think I'm behind on mine from New Teacher Summit. I need to go in and finish mine up. But that is typically the two. What we're doing today is even a little bit different. Patisse is making sure everybody that's on the Zoom, she's checking them off right now. And then at the very end of KickUp, we're just going to go in and say, yes, we confirm their attendance, and we'll be done. And you'll see tomorrow that you have credit for attending this event. So just be patient with us as we all work out the kinks, but those are the different ways for you to get credit. Any trainings that you do in KickUp are going to kind of just compile in a transcript for you. So if you ever need to have documentation of a training that you attended or show that you have had something, you can go in KickUp and print that up, just like a college transcript, and show that you did this on this date, and that's your documentation. Used to, before we had KickUp for a long time, you just had to hold on to your agendas. I can't imagine what we would do right now if we didn't have KickUp and we were still doing the old way. You had to keep up with your agenda, the actual piece of paper to show that you had credit for that. So no more anymore. Everything is online. It's there and it's safe for you to do. Now, Sunny, will you talk about the do not use?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a button whenever you go into browse events. If you're looking for an event in KickUp, some people, there is a button that says submit an event request. And this is set up to allow people that go to events outside of Caddo. So if you go to one of those Teach Your Heart Out or Teach Like a Rock Star or things like that type of conference, this is where you could get credit for that. But please do not submit anything in there saying, oh, I did this and oh, I did that. Nobody is monitoring that. That would come to our department ultimately. But right now, we have so much going on with managing KickUp, managing Nearpod, managing Canvas, managing ClassLink, managing everything else that we're taking care of. There's no way that we could go in and vet those different things. And so hopefully, maybe one day we will get the opportunity to use that. But right now, nobody is monitoring those requests. So when you put in an event request, nobody's going to see it. So it's pointless for you to do that. Well, I take that back. Cassie will see it because she gets those, and then she'll call me and go, hey, did you see this? No. Do you want to see it? No. So don't send it to us.
Yeah, it really bothers me. I don't want people to get all the credit they can. Just hold on to the agendas and documentation for those things, and so you'll have proof that you went to them. The last thing on this slide is about the teaching and learning. I had a whole slide. It was so cute. It had links to all of the curriculums, websites. Well, I just found out yesterday that they're totally redesigning their website. So in the next week or so is what I hear, that there's going to be a new link on our website for teaching and learning. And so it's coming soon. And it will be a link to all of the resources for all of the different curriculum areas, for subject areas, everything like that. So hopefully by October, I'll have it ready. They'll have it ready so I can show you. But hopefully you'll see it before then if you explore on your own. Sunny.
Do you mind if I share my screen at this point just to do the next 2 slides?
I would love for you to do that. Let me make you a co-host. Do I need to stop sharing?
It depends on how you check the button at the bottom.
I don't know. Is it going to record if I let you do it?
It should still record because it's part of the meeting. So it should keep on recording. Yeah, recording.
Oh, look at us.
So the very first thing that I want to talk to you about is we at Teacher Technology have created a YouTube channel, and we have been compiling all the videos that we have been making throughout all of this home learning and virtual learning progress that we have been going through, or the process. And so as crazy as it has been, things were kind of just going everywhere, and we decided, hey, let's put all this together and put it in one location so that everybody can find it. So if you just type in YouTube, Caddo Teacher Tech, that comes up, but this is the link that takes you directly to it. The next thing that I wanted to point out to you, and I'm not going to take you to the Caddo Teacher Tech, but I will take you to this one here, Caddo Teacher Technology website. This is our website that we manage, and it has a lot of good information in it if it comes up, because my Google has been acting crazy. So while we wait on that, it has lots of good information. It has the information, here we go. Of course, it's going to show you my version of it and not your version of it because I'm an editor. So I will do the preview down here for you. This has all of the teacher tech staff. So this is just the main site, and we have the Caddo home learning resources, and I'll show you that in a minute. But if you look over here to the side, we have meet the staff, and it has all of our staff members. This is our supervisor, and then these are all the instructional technologists that are in Caddo. We have help forms, things that you need to fill out to get things. This WITS work order, if somebody tells you you need to contact your technician, the technician assigned to your school, then your office work, somebody in the office will have to fill out a WITS work order. Teachers should never fill out a WITS work order on their own, but there are other things on here that you can do. This is a reset your Google or ClassLink password. This one is a SIT ticket. Now this one comes to us. WITS orders go to the IT department, but SIT tickets come to us. And the difference is IT works on your desktop or your laptop, and the Teacher Technology Center helps you with software. We help you with your smart boards, Promethean boards, Chromebooks, iPads, document cameras, things like that, that the teacher actually uses in their everyday teaching. Unfortunately, the computers are not our domain. So if you have a computer issue or a printer issue, something like that, that's your technician. But teachers can fill out a SIT ticket, and it comes directly to the technologist that is assigned to your school. If you need a kick-up account, or if somebody that you know needs a kick-up account, they can come here to get an account created. So I'm going to go back to over here. We have the kick-up event submission is just for supervisors, so you cannot submit in a kick-up event. Then we've got the spotlight. If you are a teacher that has done something, some type of certification, we have Google Spotlight, we have a Nearpod Spotlight, we have Office Spotlight, and we actually have an Apple Spotlight. And I see that it's not on this page. So you can get spotlighted as a teacher if you send us, submit your stuff on here. And if you go to these individual sites over here, there's a place for you to upload your information to get recognized on our site. Normally, we have our class offerings right here, but everything's been virtual. And so when we go back to non-virtual, we will actually be holding trainings here in our Teacher Technology Center. And then we have this wonderful how-to instruction sheets page. And this is just basic information of how to do lots and lots of things that you might be interested in. Then there's also a Potty PD, and that is something that tells about our upcoming trainings, but hello, we aren't having any, so there's nothing to put on Potty PD right now. We also have a badging system where you can go in and take different little trainings, upload things, proving that you have done stuff, and get a little badge saying, hey, I've completed this. Then there's also something called Tech Ching. If you participate in so many of the trainings that we offer as the tech team, then you can get points, and we have giveaways that you can come in and, like you have for your classroom, your students can earn little stuff and go to the treasure chest. Well, we have a tech treasure chest that you can come to and get things like Echo Dots for your classroom, or the clickers to progress things, the slides in your on your slideshows, different things like that. So that is the first thing, the website. Then we have some basic forms. I did include the one that's already on our website down here, which is the Google ClassLink password reset and account creation. I know some of you, somebody sent me a message that said something about needing to get into their Google Gmail. Well, guys, Caddo doesn't have Gmail. We have Google accounts that allow us to use Drive, but teachers do not have a Gmail account through Caddo. It is just your login information to get into Google. So there is no Gmail account. Now, if you don't have a Google account to get into your Drive and things like that, you would go to this site here, this link, to fill out the form for that. And so there go. Yes, yes.
I realize I'm probably the oldest dog in the house here, but can we clarify that just a little bit? So
okay.
Go to a site and it says click check in with or sign in with Google. I click that. I put in my GP Davis-Hardy@caddoschools.org, and I put in my password that I usually sign in my Caddo email with.
Correct.
All right, did everybody hear that? That's what we're talking about when we say sign in your Google account. You're actually using your Caddo Schools account with your Caddo Schools password.
But it's not automatically created.
Correct.
If you have a Caddo email and you go to sign in with Google and you have never let us know that you need a Google account, then you probably will not have access to Google, and it will tell you there is not an account for you. And you're looking at your account going, yes, I do have an email account. Well, it's not a Google account. You have a Caddo email account, and we have to make the Google account talk to your Caddo email account. So
it's the best thing ever.
If you're not using it, you're not using one of the best resources in the whole district. Unlimited storage.
Yes, it has unlimited storage. It talks directly to Canvas. So it's like a flash drive for your Canvas stuff. You can just simply jump in there to your drive and pull things in to an assignment. So it really is beneficial. Number 3 here, we skipped over. You also do not have a Nearpod account when you come into the district. You might sign up saying that you need to that you're trying to get into Nearpod. You might try to be using Nearpod and you get an error message that your Canvas won't talk to Nearpod. That means that you do not have a district account and you need to fill this page out, this form out for me, and then I will create you a district account. Don't just send me an email because I have to know certain information. That's the purpose of the form. So please make sure you fill the form out. The next one here, the next page, teacher technology assignments. This is a page for you to know what teacher technologist is assigned to your school. And this is going to pull up a page here for us. It's a PDF pulled off of a database that we have that we use for our own personal information. But this is a document that tells you what instructional technologist is assigned to what schools. And we also have their email and phone numbers down here in the bottom corner for you. And this was just updated day before yesterday. So it is definitely up to date with all of the new, like we've had some changes over the last couple months. So it has all of those changes as well. Then the next thing, who does that? This is a big question that I kind of made this document because I'm constantly getting phone calls and then I would have to go ask my boss, well, who do I talk to for this? Who do I talk to for that? So this is a document that we as a department have kind of put together over the course of the last year. And it is who does this in the district. So if you have questions about any of these things down here on the side, it tells you the person that you need to speak to, and then it has the email address and phone number of that person, because we don't have a clue, you know, if we don't have this list. And so there's lots of stuff. I'm seeing Cassie and Patisse look, and they're going, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So
Cassie, right now, the very first one, ASAP, my name's beside it. I don't know anything about ASAP.
that is what we were told over here. So if you need me to change that, Cassie, I can take care of that for you, or just tell them to mark it out, because that is what we were told, is that's who handles it, is y'all's department. So anyway, this is a wonderful tool. We refer to it all the time. And so I hope that this helps y'all figure out who to contact when you're having issues with certain things. Then we have two really wonderful things here that hopefully you'll be able to use them. The Caddo home learning site, which is constantly changing, and right now the first page is still has summer stuff on it, but I wanted to bring you here because it does have things for parents and administrators and teachers. Up here in the top right hand corner, you've got some tabs. So the parent and student tab talks about how they can log in and basic tech info, but across every single page is this help desk form, so that if the parents get here and they cannot find what they're looking for, they can click on the help desk form and they fill it out and it comes to us, and we can help the parents get logged in. We can help the parents get into whatever they're trying to get into. We can explain to them why they're not able to hook up to something, so they're not bothering y'all with that. And then teachers and administrators, there are lots of things here underneath these tabs. There's videos that explain how to do something. Here's the virtual help desk again. Here's some more how-to guides. And then this was for spring learning, this curriculum tab. I don't think that the new curriculum for the district is there. I think that is still from last summer, but there are some really good resources on here for you. And then this is the virtual help desk tab, and it takes you to the form that allows you to fill out a help desk ticket. And we are working through those as fast as we can. We were also tasked with the parent phone portal, the phone call tree thing that the parents have been using. And so we've been answering lots and lots of questions from parents. And unfortunately, some of the help desk tickets have been skipped over because of that. But we try to help the teachers out as quickly as possible. Go ahead.
Brittany asked if you could go back to the previous slide for the parents.
Oh, okay. The parent page. Let's see.
Can you put, is that, Brittany, would a link to that directly help? Or, well, we'll have all these.
Yeah, I mean, it's on, like, they just go to the page and then click on the parents and teachers. This login information, whenever they do this, it is logging into, it's how to get into ClassLink. And see, this one still has Google Classroom, which that's a big no-no. But this has helpful videos. It has accessibility tools for your iPad. Lots of children are using iPads at home, and it teaches them how to make it have the immersive reader turned on. It teaches them how to make it translate for those ESL students. There's lots of different things on here. How to change the language in a Google browser. So there's lots of different reading accessibility tools. And then there's this whole section on Google Classroom that I thought was supposed to be taken out, but apparently they put it back in. So we'll have to take that out ASAP.
Hey,
Yes.
they've told us no Google Classroom after the first 9 weeks. Is that right? I mean,
That is correct. Google Classroom will be turned off for the district after the first 9 weeks. So y'all had lots and lots of questions about Canvas stuff. And so I decided that the questions that y'all were asking are very good questions, but we have a limited amount of time. This was supposed to be a brief pitch on, hey, how are things going? This is where you can find us. I did want to point out one thing. There was a question from Miss Claiborne. Ms. Claiborne and I got on your page today because we can go in and pretend to be other people. And she had asked about the buttons. She was having a hard time putting buttons in on her page. And guys, anytime you want to put an image or something on your page, all you have to do is make sure you're in the edit mode over here on the right-hand side. And when you're in edit mode, and it's going to come up in just a second. You can make any image a button, any image at all. And so all I did was I went to the internet and I found a document, or actually a picture that had the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I used my snipping tool to actually just snip the image. And so these are actually 5 different images here. And so to be able to link your Monday through Friday to your modules, she said she was having a really hard time doing this. Well, what you have to do is you have to click on the image, and then this image options button will pop up. Well, when the image options button pops up, can you see this screen on the side that popped up, Cassie, where it says image options and it has a whole bunch of stuff? Okay, when this comes up, it gives you options for your image. So you say you want to embed the image. So then you're going to, let's see, make sure you've selected the image here like this. When the image is selected, you're going to come up here to this hyperlink tab. And you're going to say, I want it to go to a course link. And then I can take it to another part of my course. Where do I want to take it? Okay, I want it to go to my modules. and I want it to go to, oh, let's see. Okay, this is, if you take it this way and it just goes to a whole module, it's gonna just go to this particular module. But Nicole Alene, who is my office partner, taught me a different way to do this, so you can make it go to your specific Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday section. So if you want it to go specifically to Monday, I'm going to come over here to my modules section in Canvas. And I have this particular item that is under Monday. Now make sure, guys, this is something that we've run into a lot in Canvas that is an issue. People say, my students say they can't see my stuff. Well, if you have Monday published, but you don't have the whole module published, nobody's going to be able to see anything. Do you see this little button right here? This is a module where it says 2 week, second week of school. And this little mark right here, you must publish that module, and then you will come in here and unpublish specific things that you don't want anybody to see yet. So if I want Monday's stuff, I have to make sure Monday is published. So then what I'm going to do, I want this one to be linked to something. So I'm going to click on this assignment. When I click on this particular assignment, up here in the top is the URL for that assignment. I am going to copy that, Control copy, or I can just right click and say copy. And then I'm going to go back to my home page. And it takes you back to the main page. Remember, you have to be in edit mode to make this work. So I'm going to go back to edit. And this is not the most user-friendly where you have to drag this down every single time. And then I'm going to click back on Monday. Well, when I'm clicked back on Monday, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to say external link, because I'm not linking it to something inside like that I can just tell it to go to. And I'm going to say done. And so now, do you see that my Monday now has image options and link options? So now I have linked this button to that assignment. So I can go down here and say save. And when it saves, it comes up, and then I can come here to Monday. And when my students click on Monday, it takes them to Monday's assignment. Now, you have the next button when you have another assignment in Monday's stuff. So that's the main thing that I saw. People are wanting to know how to link those buttons, and so I just use this one as an example. If you have other Canvas questions, anyone in our department can walk you through those things. All you have to do is send us an email. That is what we do all day long right now, is answer the Canvas questions of the teachers. You can call us during your planning period or your explorations period when your kids are, if they go anywhere. If not, you can call us after work. We're here until 4:30 every afternoon. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. And I am going to be going through this document that y'all filled out for me. I mean, there's 39 things. And so I'm going to be going through that, Cassie, and typing up something to try to answer those different questions. We have some videos so that I'm going to probably just send it to you, frequently asked Canvas questions, and then you can just post it.
Yeah, I'll put it on our page.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
As we move forward, if you will scroll back through the chat, there are a few questions that I have privately told people to hold, please, because
Okay.
there are things that you could answer. So
Okay.
if you would kind of scroll back through the chat and see if you could answer those, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I can do that.
Thank you.
And then I'm done, Cassie. So do you to tell you?
How do I get the screen back?
I just stopped sharing.
Oh, so I'm gonna share again. Okay. Hold on. Screen one. All right. I think I got it. Okay, so y'all can see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot to do this at the very beginning, but I do want to show y'all something that Renee Pullen taught me about Google Slides that I think is really cool. And if you're not familiar with this, do you see this menu bar down here? If I click closed caption, look at what it does at the bottom of my screen. It is typing out everything that I am saying. How stinking cool is that? Question mark. Oh, it doesn't do it like a text. Anyway, I might get distracted looking at it as I talk, but I wanted to share that with you, especially, if you've got some students that this could benefit. You could probably think of all kinds of tools that you can use or reasons that you could use this for. I can, as a lower elementary person, think of lots of ways that I could have utilized this in my classroom. But we're going to keep going because we're almost done, y'all. We have some announcements to make. I feel like we need a drum roll. Patisse, give me a drum roll. Do y'all know what happens tomorrow? It's September 4th. If you worked as a certified teacher between March and May of 2020, you will be getting a $250 additional fee if you worked last year. But everyone who is currently hired as a certified Caddo teacher will be receiving $500. And I love a couple of y'all doing some dances, some happy dances. Everybody, let's do a happy dance. Woo! That's some shopping money for Labor Day. So ultimately, some people will be getting $750. And if you don't know me well, you will learn that I don't do well with numbers. So I actually called back just to confirm that I did the math right, and it wasn't 250 or 500, but some people will be getting 750. So yay, shopping.
Check your bank account.
Yes, and you all got like your first paycheck this week too, right? Or you should have. So if you didn't,
I did it because I was a para.
well, yeah, there's a couple
Not me.
that are different.
But I will. It's coming.
Wonderful. So now we're going to go to our questions and comments. So at this point, if you have a question and you want to just type it that we didn't cover today, or if you have a comment about anything as we round out our session, we would love to get a little feedback really quick before we wrap up our session. Does anybody have a question? If so, please unmute yourself and ask, or type it in the chat.
I do have a question.
Okay, Katoria.
I guess it's for Ms. Pose. My problem with my problem I'm having is the Cami. Do all the students have to create a Cami account for them to write on it? Because I'm coming to the problem where when the kids writing on the Cami, I can see all they work on the Cami.
Sonny, you're muted.
Can't hear you.
Sorry. I'm sorry. My son just called me, so I was on the phone. You are supposed to go through the process of actually having them log in the first time. They have to use their Google credentials, what they use to sign into a Chromebook. I have a video that we created, Katoria, and it's on our Caddo Teacher Tech playlist. There's a whole Canvas playlist on Caddo Teacher Tech. So if you will go there, I think it's called first time sign in for Cami with Canvas, something like that. and we made the video to walk you through with your students exactly how to get them logged into Cami the very first time.
Okay. Well, that's my problem because I just got mine kind of pushed out last week and then we lost power. So I'm like behind trying to get everything together. So.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you'll shoot me an email, I can just share that video with you. There's also a video. I know a lot of you use assessments as well with your Zern stuff for the Engage New York side of it. And there's a video that we made as well on how to get the students into assessments. So that's an issue that some schools are having as well. And you do have to enter the email address one time. And unfortunately for the teacher for those little bitty kids, you're going to probably have to do it for them, unfortunately. But it's a one-time thing. And then once it's done, they'll be able to get into that as well. There's all kinds of really good videos on that Canvas playlist.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else have a question really quick that they want everybody knows how to get Sunny S. Posey at caddoschools.org? Feel free to shoot her an email. No more questions. We're going to move on. All right. Batiste wanted me to put some kind of a meme in here, and if you came through packet pickup, you got some great gift certificates and free hamburgers and things like that from some of our wonderful community supporters. Right now, we have compiled a list, and it is on our Teach Caddo website. And on our Teach Caddo website, if you go to resources, community supporters, it'll take you to this page. And we have listed, this flyer for the View Tower has been for a while, but we added today the community discounts for our teachers. And there are 4 pages going down the page of all kinds of things that if you take your Caddo badge in, you can get a percentage off, a discount. Some of them are group discounts. Horseshoe Hotel, 30% off. You could have a staycation this weekend. But there's all kinds of different community supporters that you can please visit. Thank them for supporting us. They are wonderful partners in our community, and lots of apartment complexes. If you're looking to move, a lot of them will give you a percentage off for first month and things like that. So take a look at them and make sure you thank them when you go by. Most of you have seen this before, but I wanted to reiterate if you are really, really new and maybe didn't see this before. This is our Teach Caddo team. We are here to help you in any way we can. This is our email address. We are located, if you came to packet pickup, you drove down right in front of this building. This is where we are. Our website, if you aren't aware, we don't have bit.lys and tiny URLs anymore, but we can use Rebrandly. I wanted to just let y'all know that, so I used it as our link for the website. But that is a link to our website specifically. You can get to it through the Caddo page, but that's a direct website. This is, if you ever need to come to us, Batiste and I are sitting in this building right now. We are here and we are happy to help. Please feel free. This is also considered the professional development building, so that when we do have face-to-face PD, a lot of times we have an auditorium and a meeting room. This is also where the Teacher Resource Center is. So we've got a lot of different resources and venues that you can come here for training. We are here to support you throughout your entire career. We are so glad that you are here with us in Caddo, and as a new teacher, please feel free to reach out to us. If you can't remember everybody's names or anybody's email address, there's one email address that comes to all 3 of us, Batiste, Karen Peace, and I, teachcaddo@caddoschools.org. That is the easiest one to remember. We're wearing it on our shirts. We have it on all of our stuff. Teach Caddo at caddoschools.org is the easiest way to get in touch with any of us. Our next meeting is going to be October 1st. We will do it via Zoom. We're planning to do it through December at least via Zoom. I wanted to let you know that Teach Caddo does have its own YouTube page as well, and that is where this video will be uploaded. If you need to go back and watch something else later, or if you want to share it with somebody that wasn't able to attend, they won't get all the great immediate help, but they'll get it eventually, and that's what we want them to do, is have those easy resources and an easy way to access them. Make sure you register on KickUp. The October one will be posted probably next week. And we hope y'all all have a great Labor Day weekend. It is a well-deserved 3-day weekend for all of you. Please take a little time this weekend to do something just for yourself. Do not lock yourself in front of a computer all weekend. Take some time and just pay for yourself and have some mental time for yourself. Go shopping, see some of our community sponsors. But we appreciate y'all coming. Patisse, is there anything you want to say?
Yes, if you're part of Caddo Teaching Academy, cohort 6, you received an email from me today. Please make sure you read it. If you're part of cohort 5, you'll be getting an email from me tomorrow, so be on the lookout for it.
All right, everybody have a great Friday. It's our first Friday in Caddo. Have a good one.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Patisse, if I didn't receive an email from you, should I have received one?
I'll send you a text here shortly, Trey.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Cassie, if I'm a sub at your on the pay things, are the subs paid at a different time period?